Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you guys who do not know, my name is Ashley, and for those of you that you do, thank you so much for your support. We got the channel back up and rolling. I told you everything will be all good. Let's get into this lesson. Before I start, make sure you guys check the disclaimer in the description below. Everything on my channel is my material, it's my video, it's my screenshots, it's my charts, it's my MT4, it's my voice, it's my Wi-Fi. So if anything belongs to someone else, I would happily give them credit, but let's go ahead and get this started. So EMAs are used for two things, if you ask me. They're used to identify the trend, and they are used to gauge when to get into trade and when to get out. So trade management. Okay, we don't use EMAs to count levels, and I need you guys to stop thinking you're going to count levels with EMAs, because that's not how it works. Okay. As you can see, if you're looking for 1350 cross, 5200 cross, 200 cross, you wouldn't know what this is if you're going to go off of that, right? So we're not going to do that. That's not what we do here. Okay. So trend wise, typically I would have the 4800 on my chart, which signifies the daily time frame trend on the 15-minute chart, but MT4 doesn't allow that. MT5 does. I am in the middle of getting my course recorded, and I'm trying to get the indicators coded for MT5, so we can move on over to the future. But for now, we're on MT4. Okay, so if you are able to get the 4800 on your chart, that's awesome. That signifies the daily trend on the 15-minute time frame. So basically, whatever the daily is doing trend wise, you would see it on the 15-minute with the 4800. The 3200 EMA, that's this line one, that would signify somewhere between the H4 and the daily trend. Okay, so basically that's the 16 hours. I don't have that, so you know, it is what it is, but that's what that is. Somewhere in between a daily and the H4 trend is the 3200 on the 15-minute time frame. The 800 is the 4-hour on the 15-minute time frame. That's what the H4 is doing on the 4-hour. That's the trend of the 4-hour. Okay. The 200 would be the H1 time frame. That's the trend of the H1. Okay. That's what the hourly is doing. The 50 EMA is the intraday trend. That's what we're doing intraday. You know what I'm saying? For the 15-minute time frame, that's what we're doing. Everything else below, the 5 pretty much would signify what price is doing. For the most part, it's close to it. The 13 would be the 5, if you just want to call it that. Let's just call it the 5, if anything. Okay. This is all of that, all the time frames on the 15-minute chart. Okay. So when you change up time frames, the 5-minute and the 1-minute have different EMA numbers, values to signify where we are. That's not something I'm giving out. You can still use these EMAs, and you can still trade the 5 and the 1-minute just as well as you could with the other EMAs. When you're working with the higher time frames and up, you would pretty much be focusing on what the 50 and the 200 is doing for the trend. Even on the 15-minute chart, as you can see here, they barely came back to the 800. So you would still focus on what the 200 and the 50 is doing as well, until you start to get around the 800 and the 3200. Okay, but as you can see, price interacts with the 50 and the 200 the most. So that's what you really want to pay attention to for your trends throughout the week. Now, when you were dealing with the downtrend, we would have the 4800 on top, but we don't right now. So we got the 3200 on top. If you don't use the 3200, that's fine. The 800 is on top. Then we have the 200 right below it. Then we have the 50 right below it. Then we have the 13, and then we have the 5. Okay, that will signify the correct order of a downtrend. Anytime those EMAs start to come out of whack, let's zoom in. Like right here, we're in the downtrend. You see price is above the 200. 50 is below price. That signifies we're out of order. Okay, so that probably will be a pullback, right? So, you probably shouldn't be trading that, or you need to wait for it to clear and finish the cycle, or you can trade the pullback. It's up to you, right? So when we're dealing with an uptrend, we would have the 4,800 on the bottom, the 3,200 on top, the 800 on top, the 200 on top, the 50, and then the 13 and the 5. So as you can see, we're going to zoom in. Whenever the EMAs start to come out of order, out of whack, like here, this is a pullback, okay? So people are like, oh, the EMAs are not doing what they're supposed to do. It's confusing me. They're getting all out of order and wonky and stuff. That's okay. It's a pullback. That's what that means, okay? So you can, once you see that start to happen, you can wait for them to finish their inducements and then look for the trap to start, which is the pattern, and then get in, okay? If you recognize the patterns, you don't have to wait for shift candles. You don't have to wait for second legs. You can get on the first one, okay? Just make sure you have enough room for the pullback. I'm sorry, for the stop loss for that pullback, okay? Now, as you can see here, you have the typical 513 cross, 1350 cross, then you have the 5200 cross, and then you may or may not have the 800 200 cross. That's typically pullback level EMAs, okay? You don't always get a level 3. Let's be clear. You don't always get the 5200 cross or the 200 800 cross. You don't always get that. So don't think you're supposed to, right? Especially if you're dealing with the reset conditions. You don't always get that, okay? So one way to be able to tell if you are in a reset with EMAs is when price is stuck between the EMAs, when they're wedged, okay? As you can see, they wedged here and they reset back down and moved up. As you can see, wedged here, reset, moved back up, okay? Resets, once again, like I told you guys, they're only pullbacks. They're not anything special. They're not nothing to be afraid of. It's several ways you can tell. It's resets going on here. It's all that, oh, you can't tell if a reset's coming. You can, and it's really easy. I've given you several ways to be able to tell. This is another one, EMAs, okay? So once again, price is stuck between the EMAs here. They reset back up towards that high. Price is stuck between the EMAs here. They reset down to that low. Price is stuck between the EMAs here. Reset down to that low. Okay. Price is stuck between the EMAs. Reset to that high. Okay. It's that simple. When they're stuck between the EMAs, that's what a reset is. Here you see it's out of order. You have the 50 on the bottom, the 200s on top. So why is price above the 50? That's not normal. Okay. Price is supposed to be below the 5 EMA at all times when it's doing its thing. If it's coming above it, that's a pullback, right? So here, price is supposed to be above the 5 EMA. It came below, pullback, moved up. It's that simple, guys, okay? Now, the only thing I told you guys we utilize is these EMAs for us is our direction, okay? We have our direction here. We have the 50 pointing up, the 200 pointing up, the 800 pointing up. So we know we should be trading where? Up. The 50's pointed down. We should be trading where? Down, intraday, okay? You're not going to break through these EMAs. Look at their crossing. There's that typical level counting EMA. 50, 200 cross. 1350 cross, 5200, 850, 200, 800. And that was just for a pullback. As you can see, when you're dealing with levels in trend, you don't have that. You have constant pulling back to the 50 and the 200, maybe the 800. So when you're in trend, you have your direction from the 800 and the 3200. You should be following along as well. Now, when these two start to change over, that's when you start to say, okay, maybe I need to go in a different direction. But for now, this is pointing down, the 200 is pointing down. Where should we be going? Down. We should be looking for reasons to sell, which means I need weird EMAs to get in for my sell. I need a pullback to get in for my sell. Here, we're in an uptrend, right? So I need weird EMAs to get back for my buy. Weird, enter W. Weird, enter W. Okay? That's all that means. When you see those weird EMAs, that is giving you your chance to get in to continue the trend. Okay? Now, obviously, when you're dealing with consolidation like here, the EMAs will pretty much be on top of each other. That's giving you your anchors, okay? This is a higher time frame anchor on the 15-minute chart. This is a big fat W, okay? So when you have EMAs close to each other, they trade back and forth to each other, okay? That's what they're going to do. They're going to go back and forth until they break through, right? Now, what do we do in an uptrend? We trap off the lowest EMA to go up. So right now, the lowest EMA in the picture is the 200, and it's the order. This is the lowest. This is the next lowest. This is higher, 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 okay? So what are we doing in the uptrend? We trapped off the lowest EMA That's close in the picture to continue up. What are we doing in a downtrend? We trap off the highest EMA in a downtrend to go down. So this is the highest EMA, the 200 in the picture. We're going down, trapping off the highest EMA, the 800, to go down. So by highest and lowest, I don't mean the value and number. I mean what's on top of each other, as far as this is the highest, this is the lowest. The 50 will be the lowest, or the 200 is the lowest. Okay. What's the lowest here? The lowest is the 3200. The highest would be the 50 or the 200. One of the two. Okay. So that's how you would pretty much navigate your trades with the EMAs. If you were in a trade and you're like, oh, I'm going to swing this, and you notice you're in for a buy here in your 13 EMA is still pointing up. These are still pointing up. Maybe you should hold it. Even if you got here and you're like, oh, I think it's time to get out. Why? Everything is correct how it should be. So this is just another opportunity to buy. Okay. So here, oh, I think I'm going to get out to sell. Why? This is just another opportunity to sell. Now, if your stop is here, you're getting stopped out if you got in here. Okay. But just get back in there. That's your pin to the blue EMA, which is the 800. Okay. So that's how you want to look at those. I only use them for those two things. And it's really just to see the trend. Okay. What's the trend real quick, and how I manage my trades, right? If I'm trying to get in for a sale, I'm not going to sell against a 50 that's pointing up. I'm not going to sell against the 200 that's pointing up, okay? Unless I have confluence is telling me it's time to sell, okay? Or confluence telling me it's time to buy. So it's really that simple. You guys make sure you get in the charts, and if you have not done the research on EMAs and what they do and how they react, you should. So once again, we're going to go over price for a downtrend. The EMAs for a downtrend will be the 4,800. It's not here. The 3,200, the 800, the 200, the 50, the 13 EMA, the 5 EMA, and price below. For an uptrend, it will be the 4,800 EMA, the 3,200, the 800, the 200, the 50, the 13 EMA, and the 5 EMA in price. If everything is out of whack, you are dealing with a counter trend cycle or a pullback, okay? Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them below. Thank you so much for tuning in to my channel. I look forward to helping you guys. We're going to be dropping a psychology video next, so I think you guys definitely need to tune into that. Thank you so much for everybody who's been rocking with me from the beginning. Sorry it's taking so long to drop something, but we're going to go ahead and get that going, all right? So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to see more of my videos, you have to share them. That's the only way I'm going to drop tips. I already know how to trade. It's not helping me, helping you. Okay. So if you would like to see more tips, I need you guys to share my videos everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, other YouTubes, Telegram, Discord, email, whatever. Share it, blogs, you know what I'm saying? Blow my stuff up, right? Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have a happy trading week.